Hi, I'm Stephen here from Archery Supplies. This is the Topoint X40. And I feel like I've done a review on this before, and I probably have. But I wanted to show you the changes that Topoint have done with it. Interested to see how it shoots now that it's a new model, the changes they've made, and they've also got this in a 38-inch model now, which I don't have, but they've just released it, right? So I want to talk about it, see how I'm feeling with it, and I just talk about the company, right? So they've got a little tag up here about the specs. The problem with the tag being up high gets in the way of the sight window. Okay, so first thing, let's just run through the specs. It comes in a 50 and a 60 pound, 10 pounds worth of weight adjustment. I would like more weight adjustment. The physical weight of the bow is 4.85, so it's like all your other bows on the market. And when I say other bows, look, your target bows vary from about 4.8 to 5. So this is in the range. 40 inches axle, 7-inch brace height. This one is a little bit different. It came with 3 sets of modules. The first versions of this only came with 1 set of modules. The modules are 66% let off, not 65, which is kind of interesting. Like, I would have just rounded that to 65. 70% let off and 75%. So that comes with 3 sets of separate modules that clip on there. Very clever, I think that's a really, really good idea. I wished companies like Matthews, who are still module based, this is a rotating module, but I wish that companies that had modules did this. And they used to. When I was young, when I was 20 and I used to sell Darton and other companies, they used to come with all the modules. So I'm very thankful that Topoint has all the modules with the bow. So in the past, I'm just going to go back in time to when I'm 20 and we're going back 35 years. Martin, Darton used to come with all the modules for the bow, so you can change it to whatever draw length, and then when you sell the bow, it's whatever draw length. Where now the company goes, you want to change draw length, that's going to cost you $120. The shops have to stock all the modules, which is a huge financial burden, and then they've got to go and find the modules, which is a real pain. So I was so thankful when Elite went to rotating modules. And we can talk about rotating modules later on in this review. Someone said you don't mention the benefits of a non-rotating module. Look, the benefits meant to be the bow's a little bit more efficient. I don't know if that's the case. I think just PSE and Matthews were in court, from my opinion, because you can't take me to court for my opinion. My opinion was PSE and Matthews were in court over patents. Matthews would copy PSE and PSE would copy Matthews, blah blah blah, and they were in court. And like other bow companies are all in court with who owns what patents, and it's just don't like you, we're not going to do rotating modules. Right, so that's my view of why Matthews don't have rotating modules and everyone else does. Draw weight, the draw length is adjustable from 27 to 31. That's rotating module. You do not need the bow press, so 2 screws have got to come out. That one just gets, no, that one actually has to come out too. And then it's just got A, B's and C's on the back here. A being the shortest and E being the longest. Each one is 1/2 inch. Now this is interesting. So I just did the new Topoint X40 bow, so it's just new for Topoint. Very similar cam to this, but bigger. And they did 1/4 inch adjustments in most of their settings. This is 1/2 inch. So if you're a bit like me, and I'm a bit between 28.5 and 29, so sometimes I shoot 28.5 and sometimes I shoot 29. With the bow like an Elite, you can just set that to be 28 3/4. And I often say I had 2 PSE Performs. I had one on set on 28.5 and one set on 29. I didn't know the difference. And I shot them both the same, so I don't know if it makes much difference. Right, so brace height of 7 inches. The speed was 330. That's pretty quick, 330. So the hunting bow, which was a 33-inch axle bow with 6-inch brace height, was 338. So 330 puts this bow at a pretty fast speed compared to most target bows on the market. Roller cable slide, so this is like Matthews, like everyone now. Who doesn't have this? Someone's going to not have this. I don't know. Someone doesn't have this. I'm going to say PSE doesn't have it and they'll get in trouble. This can be moved left to right. That's pretty similar to like Elite and a few other companies. Little carbon cable rod, bolts in twice, that's good. String stop here, bolts in twice, that's good. Lower stop here. They've gone to white limbs. I think these look good. This system here is very much like a Matthews where it goes in the bow press. This had two purposes, one to go in the pro press there, and the other thing was if you dry fired the bow to try and stop the limbs from blowing apart. Okay, I don't know if this was a patent with Matthews. I don't know how the patents work and all that sort of stuff. The yoke system, this is very much like a Matthews system, how it connects on, although other companies have had this in the past. Companies who've had this in the past before Matthews has been High Country, XI, Martin. This is a relatively common system. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's a dual yoke system to balance the limbs. But I think of this as a Matthews system because Matthews is the one still with this system, right? But it's been used by lots of companies in the past. What Topoint have done this year is they've done two colours, right? So this one is black and red, and I think it looks spectacular. They also have blue black, gold black, orange black, maybe green black, maybe silver black. And this is common with companies that you see, which is like Win and Win. Nika do it. I wish Vivix did it. You're going to pay an extra $100 for the two-tone colour. And I'm going to say with Win and Win, the ATFX Deluxe, which has got the two-tone colour, is $100 extra. That will account for almost 90% of total sales, even though it's $100 more because people like the two-tone colour. There's no limb locking, metal limb pockets. Look, it looks quite good. Price point. Let's talk about price point. Your other shoot-through risers. Shoot-through riser. So the concept of a shoot-through riser is meant to be more rigid on the riser to stop torquing on the limbs and bending on the riser. Some say the shoot-through riser aims better. Okay. Shoot-through risers on the market include the PSE Dominator. This is currently the Hoyt Stratos. I think that's it. Oh, Sanlita Hero and this bow. Let's talk pricing. This bow in the two-tone is going to be about $1,400, in the single colour $1,300. Your PSE Dominator is going to be $2,500. This is Australian dollars. The Hoyt Stratos is going to be about $2,800, although I think that price has just dropped because the Australian dollar's picking up, or the distributors trying to become more price sensitive and may have dropped the price to $2,600. The Sanlita Hero, last time I sold one, and I've actually sold a fair few of them, I've actually sold out. It was a really good selling bow, shot very much like a Hoyt. I think that bow sold for about $1,000. The Bhutanese would buy lots of them for finger shooting. This would be a bow that I would think the Bhutanese would shoot as well. Having not shot the bow, I don't know. Let's grab the chronograph, let's shoot some arrows. Okay, so I haven't drawn this bow back, so let's see how it goes. The first arrow I'm shooting is a Velocity 400 spine. This bow is meant to be set at 60 pounds, 29 inches. The arrow weighs 327 grains per inch. The Acuity, which is meant to be 338, shot at 293 with this arrow yesterday. So it's about right for 338. So this one should be shooting 285. So the draw cycle, it's easy, peaking, drops into the valley. So I'm going to say the draw cycle is a little bit harder than the Acuity. Feels light, it doesn't feel like 60 pounds. Very short valley, not as short as your SVX, not as short SVX Hoyt bow, not as short as your M2. It's quite a nice drop off into the valley. It's quite nice. Now, this is a little bit firmer draw than the Acuity because the cam's a bit smaller. Bigger cams, generally a bit smoother to draw. Okay. So I suspect this bow's going to be, it's bigger brace height, but there's a little bit more energy built up in the bow. But because of the brace height, it's not going to be quite as quick, is my view. $274, I think that's what I said. Right, So Topoint has done videos of many Chinese people, and I assume they're Chinese or Malaysian, shooting this bow and at like I'm going to say World Cups, but it's competitions in China and Asia. And they shoot big scores with this bow. You will not see professional shooters shoot this bow, okay? Because a professional shooter is going to get paid to shoot the bow, whatever salary they get paid, and they're going to get paid money to win tournaments. So Paige Pierce the other day shot a tournament. She won $11,000, and I think the number someone said to me was 55,000. I don't know if that was from the last 5 tournaments she shot. Now Topoint don't pay prize money, so you've got a different pricing structure built into the bow, if that makes sense. This is a VXT arrow, so this is heavy, 355, 150 grain point. I think the weight on this is about 370. So this should be around the 250. .257. Now the VXT is like my target arrow. It's a thinner arrow, a little bit heavier, so you get less wind drift. The bow's got very little vibration after the shot. I feel a little bit of that after the shot. It feels very stable. It feels good. In fact, I'm pretty sure I shot one of these bows before. I'm sure I did a review where I compared this to the Reliance. I don't know if I ever published it or not, but it was a different model. It had black limbs, so it was like one of the first models that came out. And I preferred the Reliance from Topoint. The Reliance was $800 and this bow was around $1,300. I don't know what's changed. I don't know if it's different let-off or what. The bow feels different than the other model. I feel less vibration with it. Feels very comfortable. And it feels very much like a Reliance now. So before I was like, yeah, I would choose a Reliance because I feel less shock with it because the limbs are more parallel. You can see these aren't parallel limbs. These are more like a Supra or a Stratos limb where they're more upward, so you feel a little bit of force moving forward. The Reliance limbs are more parallel, so you don't feel much shock with it shoot. So the Reliance is more like a Matthews where the limbs are parallel. Okay, so it's got to be the feel that you like. All of this does not affect your accuracy. Okay, I cannot stress enough. Everyone, the number of customers who come in worried about everything, and I'm going to feel like I don't care, it gets back to the archer. It always gets back to the archer and how much you train. I feel like I say it on every single video I do, and I hope I do, because that is the thing that counts. Hard work. .300 feet per second. That's a 3D HV. 3D HV is the fastest of the arrows. It's more of your 3D arrow. That's the arrow I'm thinking about shooting field with for a marked field. I don't know whether I'm shooting compound or recoil or even shooting the event yet, but this bow comes in 2 cam options. The cam 1 is the bigger cam. The cam 2 is a smaller cam, so more compact. The cam 2 is shorter draw length, and I'm going to say it goes out to about 28 inches, so somewhere like 23 to 28. They do this bow in some really cool colors like gold and silver, and that's a different process. It's a plating process. But they look spectacular. And I always remember going to bow manufacturers saying, look, could you do some target colors that look bling so they stand out? And basically everyone would go, yeah, look, there's no one buys target bows. And I was listening to a podcast from Kyle Douglas. I'm going to say world champion and, you know, like this big archer. And I'm not flobbing him off. He's got an archery shop and he goes, I don't stock target bows, and even though he's a target shooter, he goes, because it's all hunting. And this is the bit I have never understood. I went to around 80 stores in America and I don't think I saw a target bow. I definitely didn't see recurves. If I did, they were very, very few and far between, but no target recurves. The shops just stop hunting stuff. And it's like, why wouldn't you stock some target stuff and get people, you know, trying the other forms of archery? Like, I stock like horse bows. I sell so many horse bows. I sell so many long bows. Like I sell hunting bows, but let's say I sell a third. So let's say I sell 3 hunting bows to 1 horse bow. Maybe. You've just given up all those sales because, I don't know. It never made any sense to me. Anyway, let's go back to 18. See how I shoot. I think I'll shoot this bow pretty good because the draw is very easy for me. Doesn't feel like 60. And before, when I've done a review on this bow, well, not this bow, but another bow, it didn't weigh 60. Some people say, how do you get more or less weight? Twisting up the cables increases the weight of the bow. Lengthening the string increases the weight of the bow. Shortening the string decreases the weight of the bow. Okay, so it's that simple. If you've been shooting the strings for a long time, then the strings stretch, you lose weight. These strings are an X99 string, which is from BCY. They're about 26 to 28 strand. It's interesting because I'm like, they're meant to be low fuzz, low thing. Most of the American bow companies use 45X. Topoint's using the X99, and I'm not sure why. Because I would think the X99 is the more modern string, but just like gas strings are 452. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I would think more fiber is better, but this is what they use. Let's take it back to 18 and see. Okay, so I'm back at 18, and I'm hoping to shoot better than I shot last night. Okay, so last night I shot the Topoint X40, and I didn't think I'd shoot it very well, and I shot it amazing, like one of the best groups I literally have ever shot. And I feel like it's better than my target bow, right? And I feel like I shoot that bow really, really well. So 7-inch brace height I should shoot really well with because it should be more stable. The draw cycle is very smooth, which is an indication I shoot well with. The axle size generally doesn't make much difference to me. Okay, so I'm going to take this off because this gets in the way. This white thing here, that's where your peep goes. The Acuity had a peep sight on it, which, you know, if you saw the video, whacked me in the face. I'm not going to say that will make any difference. This will make any difference. I'm hoping that just doesn't get in the way of me sort of seeing. And I'm hoping to shoot really good with this bow. I don't know whether I will or not. And I feel that's part of it when I do a video. Because I never know how it will turn out until I start shooting arrows. Like yesterday, one of my vanes fell off and the arrow went funny, and it's real life. It's, sometimes I draw back the bow and the bow explodes. Sometimes people aren't happy. And like tonight, I was just threatened with legal action. This guy was like, so I pulled down one of my videos because it had this person's name in it. He said, if you don't pull down the video, I'm going to sue you. And I was like, I don't know why. So it was a video about fun. Is archery a game or is it fun? Like, how do you view archery? And it was just a debate, like my view on how I see archery and how someone else sees archery. I didn't see any harm in it. It's just my point of view. I'm not disagreeing with the other person either, because I accept their point of view, because I think they see it different to I see it, because I just see all the hard work and that's all and it's not all I see. I see people who have got mental things, anxiety. I see those people all the time in my shop, all the time, like every day. And they do it for relaxation, they do it for thing, and that was all in the video. So I didn't know why he threatened to sue me. So then I had to ring up the lawyer and say, you know, like, can you sue me for this? And they're like, what are you talking about? You haven't said anything defamatory, you haven't done anything. So the answer is no, they can't sue you. So then I went back, and anyway, so that shook me a bit, and I was shaking. I'm probably still shaking. It's probably 2 hours on. So it's just like, why do you post stuff to social media if you don't want people to discuss it? I don't understand that. Don't post stuff to social media if you don't want to discuss. If I post something to social media and I post up some pretty controversial stuff, I remember I posted up a thing about hunting animals on the RSPCA website, which is the animal conservation group. I thought I was going to get hammered. I was like, this is it. I'm going to get thousands of death threats. Won't be the first time in my life I've received death threats from white shooters. Actually, I'm pretty much in the good books these days with white shooters, I think. But the people are really good. They were like, yeah, we didn't think about that point. We didn't think about poisoning animals and how else animals die. And I was like, you just see one side of the animal dies. That's bad, you think, and I understand that. But the alternative is poisoning, and that's just horrendous. And they're shooting things out of helicopters, and like it's just horrible stuff. Anyway, that was my point of view, and I think people should, if you're going to be on social media, have a point of view and say it. And I say stuff on lots of stuff. Anyway, let's shoot arrows. Actually, I had a guy from that video message me, and he said, 75 years old, and look, I'm sorry if I misquote you, like, but, you know, I simplify it. He said, I'm 75 years old, I shoot every day, about 30 arrows, hopefully that's right. I'm teaching the kid next door to shoot archery and have fun in a safe environment. And I work every day at it, and I enjoy it, and I see it pretty much the same way you see it. And he said, I don't compete. I think he's based in America, right? But it was like, read the whole paragraph about things. I get that all the time whenever I do videos. People are like, that video touched me, and I was like, I don't know, it was just a topic at the time. Like I think, well, I've been told I'm going to be the state manager for the juniors this year, right? So our state junior team going away to Canberra, it's where I used to be for 25 years. And I put my hand up because I was like, the kids, I know all the kids in the state and they all train really hard. So I've got complete respect for them all. Literally, all of them. They all work really, really hard. And I'm like, well, maybe we can get more kids to shoot in Canberra, and maybe, you know, like, because I know the place, I know where the shops are, that will be beneficial. And if some of them start to get upset with the way they're shooting, we can calm them down, because we've been there, done this before. Like, maybe I can help out, right? Maybe I can put something back in, because I remember when I had a manager, when I was a junior, I really appreciated, and I'm not saying she did a lot, the manager, that I really appreciated the fact that she went and got ice cream or whatever she did, and just, you know, just the support, I really appreciated. And I always think you've got to put stuff back. Okay, well, I've clearly got the size setting wrong. Oh, that happens. I thought it was... I literally shot one arrow, went dead in the middle, and I was like, yep, we're good. I don't know what happened. It's alright. I'm not seeing any pin movement left to right. There's no wobble. So sometimes I get wobble when I shoot. I'm not getting any of that. Sometimes I think that's through hand placement. This grip feels like a PSE. It feels like my old Supra. That's what it feels like. It feels like a PSE grip, which I'm very familiar with, because I shot them for years and years and years. So this grip feels very, very familiar. I'm not getting any movement. It's very stable. I am getting that sort of movement around. That's pretty normal. But I feel like I'll shoot this really well. Now I'll say the sight pin, so aiming the sight pin at the target, it's sitting in the 10. Like it's not really moving outside of the 10. It's very, very stable. I saw a video where Topoint did a video with this and their target, one of their target shooters shooting with stabilizers. They had the stabilizer on it in slow motion showing no vibration through the stabilizer, and I was like, that's amazing. I don't understand it. I don't understand how there's no vibration. Still don't understand it, right? I don't understand it, because when you shoot, the wave of the bow, like vibration comes down and it comes back. I don't understand how there's no vibration. And a very interesting video. bow's got very little vibration forward. What does this bow feel like to shoot? It feels slower than a Stratos, it feels slower than the new PSCs. It feels like a Supra with an SE cam. It feels like a Hoyt Stratos with a HBT cam. It feels, the Sandleader Hero feels harsher. The Sandleader Hero feels faster. It's harder to draw. It feels like the Topoint Reliance because it's got the same cams and stuff. It feels like a elite result. Not the elite verdict. The verdict has less vibration forward because of these limbs. It's a good bow. It's a really good bow. Really. Let's shoot one more. I'm disappointed they're not in the middle, but it's okay. It's funny when this guy was basically abusing me on Facebook. He was like, "Oh, you know, Archery Australia will have something to say about this." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." We're debating, is archery fun? But anyway, I assume he'll block me or I'll block him. Whatever. What? I'm going to shoot one more. What interests me is why people are worried about other people seeing their views on things. So if their view is, well, archery's a game, and my view is actually it's hard work and lots of dedication. It's not that I'm right and they're wrong. It's not the case. It's that case that you have two different points of views, and that's fine. It's Adelaide Archery Club on a Thursday. Those people are having fun. They shoot their arrows with their longbows, and no disrespect to longbowers. They have their scones and coffee, and no disrespect to scones and coffees because they love it and they socialise, and after they finish their shoot they all go to lunch together. That is fun for them, okay? Now, I'm not in that group, okay? It's not to say I shouldn't be or anything else, right? It is excellent for them. It's a very social gathering. So like archery has all different things. Like there's a lady, I was going to say the ladies who ride horses, who shoot from the backs of horses. Very different social group. There's the medieval group who like lob arrows at each other in, you know, medieval attire. It's a very different group. Most groups aren't very different. That's why you've got to find what it is for you. I'm saying from my perspective, I'm out here shooting in the cold, wet, rain, and it's funny, like I don't even expect that of anyone. I don't say to my kids, you've got to do it. When I say my kids, like kids I manage, I'll give target faces to. This is what I'm planning to do. Give them target faces and go and get comfortable with these target faces. So when you come up to it, you don't panic. I don't want you to panic. I want you to be calm and do your best and have a good outcome and have a good memory of this event. I want you to go to the movies. I want you to go and see the War Memorial. I want you to go and see the Mint or the National Museum in Canberra. I want you to walk around Lake Billy Griffin. I want you to walk across to the shops because it's cool. It's like, I want you to see the club which they set up there. I want you to see other kids and, you know, and you'll form relationships with these people which will literally last you forever. Anyway, so I've got a few kids who work for me in my shop. And I said to them, I said, guess what, you're going to the Nationals? And they look at me. And I'm like, I'm managing the team, so you're in the team. And we're going to obviously fight about that with the state. But it's like they are fantastic archers, and they are Australian level archers, And the concept of not going to Canberra, it's like, you've got to come and do this. Like, you are, and you know, one of them said, I don't train as much. I was like, shoot 30 hours a night. Shoot 30 hours a night leading up to the event, you'll shoot fine. Have fun, go and meet people, see it, it's 4 days of your life. Go and have fun. Anyway, that's my view. So, which is not to say don't work hard, it's like the event will be fun for you, and I want to make it stress-free as possible, but it's hard work leading up to it. Alright, let's go and see how this shot. Here's the group. I can get my hands around the whole lot. If I had my sight in the right position, they would all be in the 10 with no outliers. Now, I had one viewer comment, you know, if I set up my bow properly and I did a full setup, you know, like with stabilizers and all that, how well would I shoot? This is amazing. This, and I'm not saying I'm an amazing shot. Like, I would be happy to shoot this with my target setup, right? Like last night when I was shooting recurve out here, I was shooting somewhat like this. I was shooting pretty good as far as I was concerned. Some nights I don't, some nights I do. That's a really good group. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to go again. It goes back to the Archer. So the Topoint X40, the difference between the 38 and the 40. The brace height on the 38 will be fractionally shorter, so it will be a little bit faster, 2 or 3 feet. That's not going to make any difference. The angle on the string is going to be a little bit more acute on the 38, so it's going to be a little bit further away from your eye. It's really not going to make any difference, right? So I have shot 37, 38, 40s, 36s. With the Elite I shot 31, 33, 35, 37 inch bows. I shot the same score with all of them, with all the setup. It is so disappointing to grab all these different bows and shoot exactly the same score. So my theory is at the end of it, the bow doesn't make much difference. Saying that, what does make a difference is how the bow is for you to shoot. The bow was stable, so it aimed really well in center, so my sight pin didn't move. Sometimes when I do these reviews, my sight pin moves around, right? Then my sight pin didn't move. Depends how the grip is. The grip was very familiar to me. There's a whole bunch of grips on the market, you know, from your Matthews, your Ultra View grips, your Hoyt grips, the Elite grips, your PSE grips, and they all feel different. You've got to have one you feel comfortable with, that you're happy with. Very happy with the draw cycle. Look, some people like fast bows, some people like smooth bows, some people like high let off, some people like low let off. I've shot high let off, I've shot low let off. I shoot the same. I prefer low let off because I find it breaks a little bit easier. I shoot better with high let off if I haven't been shooting because I don't shake so much. I shoot better with low let off if I've been shooting because my muscles are built up. That's the general gist of it. So if I'm shooting all the time, low let off. Hunters will probably prefer high let off because they aim longer at the target, at the animal, because the animal might be walking, as a rule of thumb. But it's good that it comes with three. It's good it comes with 3 modules. Okay, let's talk about reliability of the Chinese products. It has American limbs, so Gordon glass limbs. If you were to blow up the limbs are relatively cheap, although they take some time to come in. If you dry fire the bow and blow up the cams are $160 for a set, which is, your American cams are around double that, $300 to $400 for a set of cams. Saying all that, I've had very little problems with Topoint bows. The bows tend to not be high performance enough to blow themselves up. And I think I've only done 2 warranties on, and when I say warranties, they weren't warranties on Topoint, which is where people dry fire them. So it's been you generally have more warranties when it's a high performance bow, which is short axle, high poundage, and people are struggling to pull it back, and they pull it back and derail the bow. That's the majority of your warranties. So I wouldn't be that concerned about the Chinese bow versus the American bow. The only thing I'm going to sort of say about that is on your top end target bows, so whichever brand, you tend to have more adjustability on draw length, let off and tunability than the Chinese product. Topoint has addressed some of this with the 3 lots of modules coming out because it's 75, 70 and 65, which I think is really good. It doesn't have the tunability of an Elite or a Bowtech. It's more like a Hoyt where you've got to shim the cam left to right if you want to do that. I wouldn't do it, but if you do want to do it, that's what you'd have to do. The PSE has got these little things that slot into the cam. You need a bow press to do it, and then you move it. So it's like doing the shims without taking the whole bow apart. Matthews, you've got to fit things into the cam, so you've got to take the whole bow apart and fit in spaces and buy kits for the specific bow. So in tunability, I'm going to rate it next to your Hoyts and your Matthews, because the Elite and Bowtech have got a more complex tuning system, which is easier to do, and PSE is probably the next step down because you still need a bow press, but it's still adjustable. The other two you've got to rip apart, okay, which is the case in the Topoint if you wanted to tune the cams. So the overall look of the bow looks good, the vibration's good. The question then I'm left with, would I choose the Reliance over the Topoint Top X? So when I first did the comparison, I would choose a Reliance over the Top X because I felt it had less vibration. I now like the look of the two color Top X, and this gets back to my videos, we all choose bows by the color. I like the two-tone colors. I like the red and black because it fits with the theme of all my equipment being red and black. I don't notice enough difference in the vibration. The Reliance maybe has less vibration still because the limbs are more parallel, but this feels very similar to all the PSEs I shot before, so I would be more than happy to shoot the Top X, right? So without stabilizers, that's a good score. Without scopes, without peeps, that's a good score. So my summary, I think Topoint have done a jump from 2023 to 2024. I think, you know, the extra modules, the paint finish, and whatever else they did, because there's less vibration now than the old model, which is weird because it looks the same, and I don't think it's in my head. Might be. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. The more you shoot, the better you'll shoot. The more work you put in, the more reward, and I try and harp on about this all the time, because that's what it's all about. It's about that hard work, and it's like, I worked hard, I got a result. And if you just want to go out and have fun, that's fine also. No problem with that. And sometimes I wish I did that. So anyway, I'm Stephen Hand. Have a great night. Thanks.